Welcome. In this video, we're going to look at Energy Coach Certification Training and the way it works, the way as an energy coach, you learn to work with each of your clients to help them overcome any obstacles they might have, achieve their goals, find their healthy, beautiful power, their energy, connect to subtle energy, connect to universal energy, the divine within, and that deeper purpose and soul truth that helps every person create a really meaningful life. So let's look at the program now. I'm going to be sharing my screen with you guys. So here we go. And we are now just in the process of starting to enroll our new class of energy coaches. This is the video for you to learn all about it. So as energy coaches, what we are doing is we are helping our clients discover what their healing path is, what their priorities are, what they want to create more of in their life. And we do this through a different way than, let's say, accountability coaching or relationship coaching or life coaching might go about it. In the beginning, when you are working with an energy coaching client, and for now, for the purpose of this time together, pretend you are your own client as well, so that you can kind of see where you would go if you were a client, okay? So we all have a territory, you could say, to discover, and that territory is ourselves. That territory is our life. It's our dreams, it's our purpose, it's our skills, it's our relationships, it's the way we function, the way we show up. It's all of that, right? So what I've done is looked at 10 specific territories to discover. And when you're an energy coach, what you do is you find which territory is most important in your client's life right now. So you begin with a beautiful session where you're getting to know your client, you're getting to know what they care about, what their resources are. And as you get to know your client, the two of you discover what territory is most important to them. So these are the 10 territories: soul power, relationship, physical, spirit evolution, creativity, emotions, healing, freedom, beliefs, and presence. Now, these are general territories. And as general territories, there are general words, right? So I'm going to go more into the detail of each territory. And you might look at this list and go, well, I want it all. Doesn't everyone want it all? And that's true. It's absolutely true. We all want it all. We want all these 10 territories to be fully lived and enlivened and really blessed. However, usually in a client's life, maybe 2 to 4, I'm saying 3 as I say 2 to 4, my body says 3. 3 territories are really singing. They're really saying, hey, this is where I need support. This is what I want to make whole. This is what matters to me. So let's look at how that might play out. So all energy coaching clients and all energy coaches learn to work with the client's unique resources. They learn to help a client connect with their higher self, their guides, their angels, their ancestors, whatever their worldview is, their spiritual view, that's what we're working in with our client. So one client might connect to guardian angels, another client to ancestors, and another client might connect to their values. And that's perfect. We want to work in a client-centric form. But what I mean by that is, as energy coaches, we're working with the client's worldview, with their belief system. And that's a really important respect that we give to our clients. And it makes the growth happen much more naturally. So all of our energy coaching clients will also learn energy exercises. They'll learn how to fill with healthy power. They'll learn to use their creative mind and metaphors. They'll learn to sense the different ways that they experience things through the senses: auditory, kinesthetic, mental, intuitive, energetic. They will learn these skills throughout every energy coaching series of sessions with you. Now, that really builds intuition, and it builds an inner resourcefulness to really be with oneself and be with the different parts of oneself, which creates a kind of coming together in a wholeness. That is really one of the inner goals of all energy coaching, is that we help our clients feel whole, integrated, balanced, and resourceful, able to take action, to have agency, to set boundaries, to feel that one matters and takes up space, and that one's purpose in life is clear and actionable. So let's look also at something else all clients learn, is that connection with their higher self. The higher self is like the inner truth within, that soul level truth. And we learn this in energy coaching through different methods. One is a guided journey experience to meet a teacher about the higher self. Another method is like an interview with that part of oneself. And so we have different ways to help a person connect with their higher self, their inner truth. And this really, really helps when there's confusion, when someone doesn't feel like they can trust their inner knowing, trust their gut, when someone feels disempowered or like they're being emotionally manipulated, or if you feel overly sensitive, or like you just keep making a mistake after mistake after mistake in life. Knowing that inner compass, that guiding system of your own truth, is the best way I know to be able to function in integrity and in authentic connection with what's most important, which in my experience is that deep connection with self, with the divine, with the universe, and that deep connection with all things, with all people, with all of the world. And we start with ourselves. We start with this deep, grounded presence within. So all energy coaching clients are also going to learn how to tune in to presence, to feel real compassion, and to be able to give to themselves real self-care. So these are the general energy coaching sessions that can help any client: the Energy Life Tour, the Higher Self session, the energy exercises and subtle energy, resourcing and metaphors is another one, working with golds and obstacles and creating integration. Another one is the 7 sense channels. Then we have the 5 elements, which is a beautiful coaching session where the client learns to work with their own psychology around these 5 elements. We have releasing life contracts and creating new life contracts, and we have power filling. So not necessarily in that order, but these are some of kind of like the basic, you could say, important lean on energy coaching sessions that everyone I know benefits from. Now we're going to go into those 10 territories. Remember how I told you there are 10 territories that as an energy coach, you learn to help a client find which territory matters the most to them right now. Eventually, you might cover all the territories, but it's important to learn how to discern priorities and pick where to begin. And so as you're working as an energy coach and you have maybe 2 sessions with your client, you and your client, because this is co-created coaching, this is client-centric, are going to choose which territories to bring focus to. And then as a coach, you're going to learn how to choose what session plans or topics that are in your toolbox you want to use with this particular client. So here for soul power, some of the obstacles that a client will face is low energy. They might feel stuck, kind of like it's hard to care enough for themselves, to feel that they matter, to take action. They might have a confusion about what they need and want versus what other people need and want. And so in the soul power zone, you're going to help your client find that higher self connection. You're going to help them explore their energy centers, their life contracts. They're going to learn how to restore lost power and find lost soul parts. Now, this comes from shamanic counseling. And this also comes from my work as a Ayurvedic practitioner, as a life coach, as a yoga practitioner, yogi, lover of yoga, and all the years I've spent studying Buddhism and different forms of Eastern psychology that support the whole person. So here we are also teaching the skill of intuition building. Now, what the client learns is to really understand their deeper meaning, how their life events and patterns have been lessons for them, and how to now fill with their own resources, with their own healthy, loving presence, and to move forward in life from there instead of from a place of attachment or greed or jealousy or anger or sadness. All emotions are good. All emotions are our friends. But sometimes emotions can also kind of wear us down at the soul level. So we're going to also be working with emotions here. And in general, a client will find their vibration amplifies their vibration as they fill with that soul power. It becomes more their truth. And everyone's truth is filled with love. Everyone's truth is filled with a generosity of spirit that becomes very, very palpable, and it's experienced by others. And so then one's relationships start to change too. So in each of these slides, I'm also sharing with you what are the energy centers or chakras that are most involved and what are the elements. Now, don't worry about this, but when you're in the program, you'll learn to know this, and this will help guide you as a coach. It's really a helpful guide. So session plans for soul power are activation method success zones, very practical life coaching, higher self coaching meditation session, learning about energy issues and clearing them while bringing in that beautiful, loving power. Working with any energetic interference or entities that have been kind of drawing out one's healthy power. Soul and power retrieval and power filling. So that's what we would choose as a coach working with a client that had an issue with soul power. We would choose from this list of session plans, outlines for sessions, which ones our client would benefit from. Maybe we choose 3 or 4 from this list. And then let's say your client who you've identified has this obstacle of not having enough soul power. Let's say they also are struggling in one or more relationships in their life. So then we would look at, okay, what are the obstacles in relationship? What are the skills that are needed? What's the learning a client has? And what are the session plans that my client would benefit from in this relationship territory, this relationship zone? So often when there are relationship obstacles, there might be past traumas, woundings, kind of abandonment or codependency. There might be feelings of isolation or of over neediness, feelings of being too much in one's personality or too little. And that relates to that power as well. There might be a difficulty in expressing oneself or a difficulty in listening to others, to really connecting and being able to find healthy solutions, healthy compromises, activities with those we love, compassion and kindness for ourselves and for others. So then we would help our client build skills in this relationship zone. And here's a list of so many skills. I'll just mention a couple: self-forgiveness, connection with guides and angels, soul communication, how to make a relationship recovery, a love request, really listening from the heart. And our clients are going to learn to not only improve their outer relationships with other people, but they're going to be learning how to create healthy inner relationships with all of those parts of themselves. The part of themselves from 8 years ago that regretted a big decision, the part of themselves from when they were a little kid and felt ignored, the part of themselves from maybe last week when they were shaming themselves. All of these parts will be experienced as friends and given the ability to communicate and integrate. And so this is the relationship zone is a full territory for many people. And often, like I said, it will be alongside another territory. So here are the session plans for the relationship zone. We've got 3 life stories, amazing session plan where we learn about a person through 3 different views, the view of themselves in terms of their linear life, what happened this date and that date, and then the soul level. And then from the story of what's happening right now, what's their stage of life right now? Maybe it's a new job. Maybe it's a new family. Maybe it's feeling a lack of movement or change. So anyways, I went off a little long there on that one, but I love that. I love that strategy session. So then we've got all these other sessions, 9 different sessions we can work on in the relationship zone. And you get all of this within energy coaching, helping build compassion with a key person, expanding relationship support, working with the solar plexus energy center right there. You can feel it on your body, where there's a lot of need to move forward in life and also to go back inside, and working with that power dynamic and relationship. Healthy boundaries, the heart chakra energy center, working with that beautiful open heart while also knowing how to create energetic protection. And we're going to work with heart filling exercises. We're going to work with a strengths process. We're going to work with values in relationship. So I hope that gives you a good sense. So next territory is the physical. And by physical, I don't only mean the physical body. We do all have these incredibly magnificent, brilliant bodies that we're going to learn a lot in energy coaching of how to really learn from the body's wisdom and communicate with our body and take care of our body. But also there's physical life. There's our identification with objects, our need for things, our emotions around the physical world. Things like materialism, all of that all of us are engaged with every day. And sometimes that's environmental factors. Sometimes that's illness. Sometimes that's stress around our physical home, right? Or our landscape, our town, our geography. All of this is part of the physical territory. And so a client who is needing more help in the physical territory of life, they might have a lot of stress and overwhelm. They might have body pain. They might have discontentment with the world, with the material world. They might feel overly attached to things. There might be some addiction to things going on, or kind of clinging habits, fear of letting go, fear of the next stage, fear of getting older, for example. And in the body, energy might feel stuck. It might feel like this person is so kind of situated in a zone, they don't want to move out of that zone. So that might be the physical. And sometimes there's also issues with schedule, timing, kind of attention issues showing up, feeling empowered to show up, and that might be bringing in the power zone a little bit. So the skills a client learns in this physical territory are intuitive listening, how to reframe tension in the body, into information and relax that tension. Um, the skills a client learns are about healthy self-care, remaking their beliefs into more empowering beliefs, releasing energy, feelings, emotions, physical sensations, and bringing in new ones, power filling, action taking, grounding energy, communicating with the body, communicating with the space. I've had great sessions where clients learn to really talk to their house, learn to clear the space in their house, to ground their energy in their space, to take up more room, and to work with any energies or interfering energies in that physical space around them. Things will happen that are just wonderful naturally, like a person will just start having the energy to clear their home, to get rid of what they don't need, or to add things to their home or to their space or to their body that make them feel much better. So clients are learning healthy boundaries, they're learning appreciation and gratitude, they're learning to really be with themselves in this physical way through the breath, the body experience, food, senses, thoughts, creativity, and this empowers the intuitive wisdom. All right, let's look now at the next territory. Or sorry, we're going to look at the session plans for the physical zone. So we've got habits and decisions session. We've got energy center session, and you'll see some of the sessions repeat in the different territories or zones. And that's important to know. So there's about 50 sessions in total that you'll be learning, and you don't have to use all of them, and you don't have to remember them. I don't, I just look them up in my notebook and there's my session guide and I can use it. It's great. I need to use my own session guides because unfortunately I don't remember what Magali in 2021 created. So I have to use my book and look that up. And you've got the book too. So we're going to look at inner conflicts resolution in one session. In another session, we'll do body listening and talking. In another session, we might do 5 elements. In another session, we'll look at bodies, forces, and wisdom and how that affects us. In another session, the 4 Ps process for situational anxiety. In another session, we'll work just with body tension, where we're reframing stress as tension, and then we're releasing tension. We are healing tension, and this is so powerful for people. We also might do, it's not on this list, but in the physical zone, sometimes we have to also do some entity clearing or some energetic interference or emotional interference clearing as well. Okay, and spirit evolution. It is spiritual coaching after all. So everybody benefits from some spirit evolution work, but there are certain clients you'll have that really point out to you how important their spiritual path is. And they might come to you as an energy coach specifically to clarify their spiritual path, to be in deeper connection with their soul truth, with their purpose in life, with their emotions of love, of gratitude, of faith, of generosity, of giving, you know, all these beautiful virtues. That might be why they're there for energy coaching. They need a friend on the spiritual path, and you get to be that friend. Of course, you're also a professional coach, so I'm not saying you're friend zoned, but it's a different way of approaching this than saying you're a spiritual teacher. Being a friend on the spiritual path means that you're equals with your client. You're not pretending to be their spiritual teacher or being their spiritual teacher. Now, if you are a spiritual teacher, that's wonderful. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being a spiritual teacher. But for some people, it's a lot easier as an energy coach to take this attitude of co-creation. And I find it really helpful to deeply honor and respect my clients' truth and their path and how I can help them create more sometimes simplicity, sometimes more regularity, sometimes more living of their truth. So, sometimes people also are lacking in spiritual evolution. And these are some of the obstacles that show up when a person has kind of they're low on the scale, you could say, and they're needing more. It's kind of what's missing for them. And so they might feel a lack of meaning in life. They might feel, and someone who feels a lack of meaning in life, my guess is at another time in life, felt it was very meaningful, felt full of purpose. So now their lack of meaning is like a red flag going off in them. So they might feel that their personal self, the part of them that goes to work, that shows up with their family, with their friends, that takes care of their body and health, that's out of sync with their soul truth. Like they just want to meditate all day, or they just want to stare off into the sunset and appreciate beauty. And yet they have to do all these things, and it's feeling like a tug of war inside. That's a really good sign that they need to work on this integration of their spirit and their personal and creating that oneness, right? So this is a great territory to work in. It might be that they keep repeating lessons in life. They keep having the same lesson thrown at them over and over and over again. And then they go, oh man, I can't do this alone anymore. I need an energy coach to help me. I need a spiritual coach. I need someone by my side to help me figure out, what is this lesson that I have to learn? I can't go through this one more time. I want to know this lesson. Great reason to work in the spirit evolution territory. So a client here is going to learn about their soul growth. They're going to learn about their life journey from a spiritual perspective. They're going to learn that integration between the personal and the spiritual parts of self. They might use time travel techniques. It's a lot of fun. It's way more practical than you would think. It's about sending love and sending healing to ourselves at different times, past and future. They're going to learn about their intuition. They're going to learn about awakening their truth and having discoveries that give them insight and clarity and a direction to go in, steps to take, practices that empower them. They're going to learn the art of what I call advanced manifestation. They're going to learn, they might want to learn with you some dream yoga practices. They might want to learn about processing emotions as part of their journey, talking to parts of themselves. There's so much they can learn. And here are the session plans for spirit evolution. You can see them here. We work more in spirit evolution with subtle energy. We work with the crown chakra. We work with the third eye, the upper body. We work with energy blocks, bringing them healing. We might work with clairaudience or clairvoyance or clairsentience, all the clairs, all these intuitive ways that we can become connected, empowered, and really courageous in our life. We might have a client who's had big spiritual experiences, and now they need to share about those in a safe place where they can integrate the experience. So the next territory, we just keep going. I don't know what number we're at, but we're cruising through these. I hope you're still with me. Creativity. So all of us have the ability to be creative, even if we think we don't. Just like all of us dream, even if we think we don't remember our dreams. We all have dreams every night. And we all have creativity, and we all have this beautiful creative mind. So when we're stuck, when we have obstacles and need help from energy coaching, it might be that we don't have strong idea flow, or we feel kind of constrained, tight, like we're walking on a tightrope, like everything has to be just so. We can't really take that next step and take action because we feel kind of condensed and fearful of doing something wrong. So that means, and we might be an artist, by the way, we might be a very kind of open human, but yet being afraid of making a mistake. And that's where the creative territory is needing support. So remember, you're helping your client prioritize what are the territories. And here, I love, you can tell, I love this territory. So we're going to help a client get in contact with their subconscious, their creative mind, open their senses. They might empower psychic abilities in the process. They're going to learn to embrace their imagination. Instead of thinking of it as something out there and different and weird, it's actually imagination. It's like play. And so it's so much fun. You're helping your clients learn to be, again, in that childlike mystery about life, that wonder. And part of this is embracing soul gifts and really relaxing into one's day, one's body, one's life. And it gives a lot of buoyancy. It gives a lot of beauty to life experience when we have that creative territory amplified. So clients will learn all this, and they're going to really come into contact with what their soul yearning is, what they dream, what they want to build, what they want to make, how they bring other people into this vision, how they take part in other people's dreams as well. It's a great zone. So session plans, some are repeating. Here we do more work in the body, in the lower belly area, the sacral chakra. We also work with expression in the throat. We work with issues of procrastination or timing or energy levels kind of depleting at one point in the day and maybe getting over accelerated at another time of day. We learn to work with the relationship with creativity. You know, sometimes this idea of a muse will come into the coaching. There are specific meditations in each of these territories. I'm going to teach you specific meditations that are helpful. And in the creative zone, we're going to work with a rainbow chakra meditation. And I have session plans specifically for helping a person in this creative territory. I just call it the creative session. All right. This is one you're probably going to go, I think everybody needs this one. And maybe we all do. Hold on, though. I need water. Emotions. We've all got them, right? So emotions is a big territory. But if a client comes to you and they're like really dealing with a lot of anger, like their partner or their children or their friends say, man, you're angry a lot of the time. I need a break from your energy. It's too much. I'm feeling like overwhelmed by you. That might be a sign that there's kind of an excess of a certain emotion. And the person comes to coaching because they want to work with that. Sometimes people say they want to get rid of emotional baggage or they want to change how they are emotionally. And what I find almost always the way we work with that's the most helpful is to welcome it, to get to know the emotion. And we have a lot of creative tools for doing this with clients. We're going to teach them also about what are the emotional red flags in other people that they need to watch out for. You know, what is it to be emotionally gaslighted or manipulated? And also, what's it like to have healthy empathy versus unhealthy empathy? So sometimes people are feeling so much empathy that they're feeling everybody else's emotions and they need help. And this is where energy coaching can be so powerful. I know because I've been there. I've been one of those people that is overly sensitive on the emotional level, and it's affecting me. It's affecting my health, my wellness. And what a blessing too, because it allowed me to learn all these tools to support myself energetically, emotionally, and to learn to process emotions and allow emotions in also as teachers, allow that wonderful depth and expression and fullness of emotions. So sometimes people are feeling no emotions, and the emotional territory is where you want to work. You'll learn to have kind of a light go off when you're talking to a client about where they will receive the most support. So here's a list of skills they're going to learn. They're definitely going to embrace. We actually have a lot of session plans that help people with emotions. So we work with compassion, joy, equanimity, empathic joy, which is feeling happiness for other people. We work with understanding what we feel, understanding how we feel about a feeling, and being with that feeling as a teacher, and also releasing feelings, knowing when feelings are ours and when feelings are coming from somewhere else or someone else, learning to be with other people's emotions in a helpful way. So this is an amazing territory that, like I said, most of us will at least be touching on this in some way. So here are the session plans for emotions. Energy coaching questions. This is a cool session plan. It's just all about the questions that we can ask as energy coaches. And emotions often equal energy. So usually when we describe energy, there's an emotional component to it, if you know what I mean. And often when we're feeling things, there's also an energy to that feeling. So they're very good friends. They're very intertwined. So we're going to learn to work with emotions as people. We'll actually turn an emotion into a person. That's Coaching 360. We're going to learn heart chakra healing. We're going to learn emotional flexibility. And this is what we're teaching our clients through these 11 different session plan outlines. Now, as a coach, you might just choose 4 or 5 for your client and then be working in another zone too. We've got breathing with the heart. We've got bubble protection. We've got energy protection for emotional manipulation. We've got inner conflict resolution when parts of us are kind of at war with each other. This is, maybe emotions come second to me after creativity. I'm not sure. So now the next territory we're going to talk about is parts of self. So all of us, you could say, have many different parts of ourself. We might have that inner child inside that shows up when we're disappointed or we feel hurt in some way. We might have the part of us that's like a fire dragon. We might have the part of us that's the wise old sage. We might have the part of us that's the rebellious teenager. And we can learn to communicate and get to know all these parts, understand when they're protecting us, understand when they're supporting us, understand when we need to go back in time and give ourselves love, kindness, connection, hear that part of ourselves. Because if parts of ourselves are in conflict or preventing us from being who we want to be today, they definitely need to be heard. And they need to be supported so that we can feel more integrated, so we can be whole. We also will work with archetypes and with guides and different frequencies, energies that work a little bit like parts of self, because we can work with an archetype energy like the lover to bring in that energy of love when we need it. We can work with an archetype part like the sovereign when we need to be a planner. So in this territory, there's great movement. And also a big part of this is nervous system regulation, understanding when we go into freeze, fight, flee, and fawn patterns because of stress, forgiving ourselves and understanding what parts are involved or how we can bring our body peace, our body soothing. And we work with the breath, with meditation, with somatic resources to do this. Okay, great, a great area. And then you can see this impacts all of the elements in our system. And we're working at the root chakra level, that really early inner experience of childhood deep in our body. We're working with the heart, the solar plexus, the lower belly. All right. And so here are some session plans for parts of self-healing. Again, that root chakra and also the crown, our relationship with the universe, with the divine. These two, when these two are in sync, the root and the crown, there's a beautiful connection happening within the whole system. We're working with the inner critic here. We're doing sessions that focus on helping our clients develop an inner kindness, a voice of kindness, understanding their critical self as a part of them, and learning to heal that part of themselves so that if they're being driven by a mean voice, They learn to instead find action taking from a place of gentle love or a drawing towards something instead of being pushed in a direction. So we work with that critical self in a very kind, compassionate way, and we create healing. And it often just becomes almost so integrated, we don't find that critical voice anymore, or very seldomly. We might also call that the pain body. So we work with energetic interference here as well. Are there entities or energies coming from other people, especially when there's people in our life who have addictions or personality disorders that might be impacting our energy? Or it might be that our whole life we've kind of felt that there is someone over our shoulder, but doesn't feel like a good guardian angel. We'll work with that. And we do this in a very normalizing way, so no one has to be scared by this. We want to work with energetic interference just like we would work with a pain in our knee that we can listen to, we can heal, and we can set it free to evolve. So we're always very lovingly setting free any energy that's not ours out into the universe or to the earth, or giving it to our guide so it can be healed and evolve. And this just creates a real frequency of freedom and love and evolution at all levels. So another territory we're going to explore with some clients is freedom. So how do you know a client needs to work in the territory of freedom? They might be holding on to a lot of emotional baggage. So what I mean by that is every session they tell you about a time when they were 25. They seem like part of them is always living as that 25-year-old. So that might be an area where they need to create more freedom, more space, more air element. They might have a fear of being alone. That would be in the freedom territory. They might be taking care of everyone else, so they have no freedom because their calendar is book solid with other people's needs. They might have such a desire to be free that they can't settle down. They can't commit to a relationship, to a job, to a place to live, to regularity of habits or rituals, none of that, because they've got to feel free. It's the most important thing to them. So we want to go there with them. We want to understand this and help them in this area. So the skills a client will learn is clearing, regulating, releasing energy and emotions that might be creating an imbalance in this freedom zone. They'll learn to talk to their body, to their emotions. They'll learn about different states. They'll learn how to bring in supportive emotions. And they're going to learn to use their movements, their voice, their posture, their senses for healing. They'll be opening their intuition. Usually people with the freedom zone really need this open intuition, open heart, and awakening values that are like those wonderful virtues that connect them to their truth so they can feel free at whatever degree they need it. And freedom will be a guide. Freedom will be a resource, but not a limitation. And in all of this process with freedom, we want to help a person be well-grounded, supported, strong, stable, present, secure. So then they can really open their wings and fly. But they need that grounded security to be able to release and open and expand. So some of the session plans for the freedom zone are 5 elements, energy exercises, subtle energy, the magician archetype, the mountaintop journey, working with energy blocks and transforming them, dream yoga and night practices. People who value freedom love night practices. Meditation. Often meditation is a big draw for freedom because it creates a freedom of spirit, a freedom of mind. We'll be working with inviting healthy relationship with air and space elements. Okay, the next territory, and I think we're reaching the end here. You're doing a great job. Beliefs. So we all have got them. We've all got beliefs. Even if we don't think we have beliefs, we've got beliefs. And sometimes our beliefs are in our blind spot. And this is where our energy coach can really help us see what beliefs are in our blind spot and limiting our ability to travel in this territory of life. So we're going to learn about, well, before we talk about what we're going to learn, clients who need support in this area of belief might feel that they get stuck thinking the same thing over and over again. They might feel that they're overly judgmental of themselves and other people. They might feel that things just have to be just so. And when things are not just as they plan, it shocks them and they don't like that. And this creates problems in their relationships, in their work, in their body. It creates problems because life is always throwing us a curve. Some people, it throws more curveballs than other people, but it usually happens to all of us. And so being able to work with beliefs empowers us to be resourceful and able to deal with those curveballs. So oftentimes there are some beliefs that are disempowering. So we need to help a client learn to make that into an empowering belief. Sometimes beliefs are inherited, and we need to help a client discern what is inherited and what is truly mine. Beliefs can be empowering. They can be protectors. Beliefs can be supportive, but they can also be limiting. We can have too much kind of black and white thinking where it's very hard to understand someone else's belief, and that limits our love, that limits our ability to be open and connected to other people. So the skills a client's going to learn in this territory are how they have different ways to relate to thinking. They can bring in new thoughts. They can create new beliefs. They can align their beliefs with their true values and purpose. They can recognize what's happening in their mind with thinking and how that thinking affects, that belief affects their body and their emotions. They can work with boundaries between their own beliefs and someone else's belief. They can work with freedom techniques, giving other people the freedom they want to have when it comes to their beliefs. One of the things that gets really enhanced is curiosity and enthusiasm. And we can practice experiments, belief experiments, so that our client, they're the ones experimenting with what they believe and how it helps them, how it makes them feel, and how it empowers them. Often it's not till after these limiting beliefs or these patterns are healed that then a person goes, oh, wow, I didn't realize I was limiting my joy in life. And now it's opened up. That's just so beautiful to hear as an energy coach. So clients will really move from judging to being able to be discerning. They'll experience new healthy habits, and they'll learn how to make empowering choices that are in their control. Their relationship to thinking changes. So thoughts are not the enemy, and they have more flexibility and agency when it comes to thinking. So some of the session guides in this territory of the belief zone are 6 steps to emotional maturity, really helpful with certain beliefs and thoughts. Meditation for the observer zone, key decisions, life contracts, healing the inner critic, and the 4 Ps. So you see some of these you've seen in the other territories. This is like a map that's helping you choose what session plans you want to use as an energy coach with a particular client. And I really love how kind of scientific it's becoming. This new class of 2023 is getting this new version. And so here I am, I think, in our last territory, which is presence, possibly our most important territory. So how do we know that a client wants to work with presence? They might just come out and tell us and say, I want to be more present. I want to enjoy my life more and really be here and now, not be in the past, not be in the future. They really might say that to you. Often they do. Sometimes, though, they talk about their obstacle, and that lets you know that they want to build more presence. So a person might um, be be feeling like they're very attached to their ego, their personality, and they might tell you they'd like to lessen that attachment a little bit. You might notice they're very attached to their personality. They might have a lot of fear, a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, jealousy, attachment, greed, envy, hurt. They might have a lot of issues with expectation, their own, other people's, and they might have a lot of conditioning going on. Do any of these sound familiar? We've all got some of these, by the way. So we wouldn't be human if we didn't have to do some of this beautiful spiritual work to bring ourselves more into presence. And sometimes we realize that's missing because we have these very real qualities of being a human being. We all get hurt, we all get sad, we all get angry. And sometimes it's showing up in our life in an exaggerated way. And that's when the presence zone in the energy coaching is really beneficial. So let's talk now about the skills that you get to teach a client in this zone of presence. And you get to teach yourself too, by the way, all through the training. We're working on this territory of presence. So connecting to universal energy, connecting to a frequency of love, learning to accept what is, and to accept what is in a place of connection and peace, kind of a broad, expanded acceptance. It might make you think of the big picture. Higher source connection to our higher self. Being able to be happy with just ourselves. So we love taking ourselves on a date alone, for example. Some of the skills is like allowing all of life to be experienced, not feeling that we have to edit or change as much as we used to think we had to do. We can actually appreciate the experience of life, which is so varied, so multidimensional, such a lesson. We learn to connect with the moment. That's one of the skills we get to teach and we get to learn. And all the practices that connect us with our own true self that are all through the energy coaching curriculum. A client who goes through this will often feel that, wow, they have a spiritual presence that they didn't know they had before. They have a connection with their guides, with their higher self. They're able to ask an angel to do the work for them, for example. They'll build an appreciation of concentration and being able to focus on the small moments, joy in washing the dishes, joy in looking at a flower. Presence is an energy that makes space for mystery and love. So often a client who goes through this series of sessions with you will suddenly feel that they have more space to appreciate their own self-love and love for others. And this can lead to a lot of awakening experiences where maybe there's a sense of universal love, or there's a sense of oneness, of openness, of less attachment, more flexibility. So session plans for presence are modes of being, higher self session, root chakra healing, crown chakra healing, journey with a tree, equanimity practice and session, empathic joy session, compassion session, and loving kindness session. And all of these sessions are designed to bring in that presence. And often the presence zone will be combined, remember, with two other zones. So a person might come to you because they're hold on, I'm just going to end my sharing here. A person might come to you because they're really stuck with a relationship issue. And you realize that also they'd really benefit from the presence coaching sessions. So you work with relationship and presence. And then as you're coaching, you find out that they could really use some soul power. So you bring in some of those soul power sessions. So I think you're getting it. I hope you're getting it. You've been hanging on here with me for a while. So here you're seeing kind of the big picture of energy coaching, all the different session plans we use, and these 10 main territories we work on, and how we decide how to work with a client. So we will be getting to know each other if you join. And I look forward to every time we meet. Take care.